Let me get a link.
Hello. Of course we're late because, StreamYard, it's always got to have some type of problems. So we are here. We are live. We're about to have some good fun. But before we jump into these wonderful authors that I have with me here, there's something matching for all of us. I spy with my little eye. If you guys want to point that out. Plus, we are missing Mike Salt because he was salty and he decided he didn't want to come on with us tonight. So, we're upset about it, but it means we can talk all about him. But before we jump into these authors here, we were going to do a giveaway last time Mike was on my channel. And we did pick a winner, and he knows who the winner is. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get together or work our schedules to be able to come live and announce who the winner is. So, Joseph D. Slater, you are the winner. I know you're probably not in here, but we'll have to tag you in here if you don't see it after the fact. You can hit Mike up on Instagram, and you can get one of his books. Okay?
Yeah.
Sorry Mike couldn't make it. We're sad, but that's okay. We'll have to trug on without him, even though he's a lot of life of the party.
Somebody will have to make the facial expressions.
It was true. There was a live show that we were having. He was in there. And one person kept commenting on how he constantly had different facial features going on. He was he could never stop moving. It was too funny. Okay, let's jump into these wonderful people. Thank you, everyone that's in the chat. Hi, hello. And CJ, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you and your work.
Hey guys, I'm CJ Sampera, newbie to the horror game, but I have a little book called Unsettling Legends. It's a book of short stories, scary stories from past, present, and future, all different walks of life. There's some poetry in there too, and a few drawings I did myself, a couple illustrations, spooky stuff. It's my love letter and ode to the classics like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, of course, and my favorite shows that I was into as a kid, like Are You Afraid of the Dark, and Ghostbusters, all the good stuff, I was inundated with the dark stuff at a young age.
I gotta be honest, I didn't think that. I, for the longest time, thought Are You Afraid of the Dark was Canadian only.
Really?
It was all filmed in Canada, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a Canadian production.
Yes.
But it was, and I think it was for a short period of time, and then Nickelodeon picked it up because it was big hit.
The best.
Hey, Tim.
No, I didn't realize back then why the kids were all saying a boot, but now we know.
What's all this darkness about?
It's funny that people say that, but when I hear people from Ontario, east of me, they sound like they're saying about. So it's everyone says a boot. I say a boot. A boat. Okay. Sorry, we lost Damien. He'll pop back and we'll invite him in. Kyle, why don't you jump in and talk about your mind trickery book?
Mind effer. Well, he just pulled up his. He was planned. I have to leave the screen to go grab mine off my.
I have it somewhere over here.
I vanished.
There it is.
I just banged the computer.
Yay!
Damien's back.
I vanished.
My name's Kyle Winkler. I had a cosmic horror novella come out in April called The Nothing That Is. There it is with the pyramid and the graveyard stuff. And it was a lot of fun to write. And I talked to Nichi some months ago on here. And it's my debut novella. Hopefully a sequel-ish thing will be coming out probably March of next spring. And I got a collection of weird fiction coming out in November. So that's about it. You will definitely, if you want one, you can have a.
Go get that book.
You can get that.
All I know is that I'm still contemplating Kyle's piece that I read.
Oh yeah, good. Finish that sentence, because if you didn't, then that would have been a little weird.
We're all contemplating
That's what she said. Yeah.
What's this piece of boot?
That's what I get for being a slow talker sometimes, hey? Hamlin, LJ, hey you guys, thanks for popping in. Okay, now we're gonna jump up to Josh. Josh, you can introduce yourself. Sorry, Damien.
That's okay.
Sorry, Damien, you kind of messed up the order by
Yeah, how
left.
dare you?
I
other
left.
places to be. My name is Josh Marsella. I am a Maine author, stay-at-home dad, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else exciting. I am the author of the book Scratches, which came out last May. This was my debut. Very proud of this book. It's put me on the map in the indie world, and a lot of people seem to like it. And I had no intentions of writing anymore, but then people liked it, so I wrote Severed, which is the follow-up prequel, which came out in February. And I will be eventually writing a third book to finish out the trilogy. I also have 2 stories coming out in 2 different anthologies. One with Raw Ink Earth and Raw Earth Ink, and the other one with Crimson Creek Press. And I also have my debut short story collection coming out with Crimson Creek Press later this year, as well as a middle grade horror book with Fright Vision that I'm really excited about. So that's what I got going on right now, and I'm glad to be here. It's me and Nichi. I've known Nichi since last year. She's been one of my earliest and biggest supporters. So it's always fun to come on and chat.
And he's probably very tired of being on my channel because he is on here a lot, and he's got even more coming up.
No way.
Yes. More Josh. The world needs more Josh.
Okay, Damien, jump in there.
Nope.
Oh, right.
You scared him.
No.
You frightened him and he ran away.
StreamYard just doesn't seem to like him. I tell you. Usually it's me that has problems, and I'm the one getting kicked and everything. Yeah, everyone's giving you love in here, Josh. What is this?
Thanks, everybody.
Look at this.
He's a man. Josh, fun fact, is the first person I ever reached out to from Bookstagram, because he was still working on Scratches, I believe, when I reached out to him. And he was doing all these reviews for just horror books, and I was like, he seems approachable enough, even though I was scared to approach anyone. And he was really nice about it and gave me my first actual review of Unsettling Legends. So thank you, Josh.
Yeah, hey, it was a great book to read. I really enjoyed it. And, since then, a lot of people reach out. I don't know why people care about my opinion, but I think it's just because I'm approachable and I like to read. So, and I also like reading not obscure stuff, but the stuff that's not getting as much attention. A lot of people like to jump on the hype bandwagon, read all the hyped up books, but whenever someone reaches out to me and is like, "Hey man, my book's not getting much attention right now," I definitely like to do that, even if I don't have a huge following, but it seems to help. A lot of people do appreciate it. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I feel every time I go to say, "Okay, Damien, introduce yourself." What the heck is Fright Vision? Fright Vision is a spooky middle grade series that Josh is going to be taking part in writing one of the books in the series. And look who's here. Fright Vision Books.
Yeah.
Cool
we have
story.
Culliver himself.
Nichi got me in touch with Fright Vision last year. They do a event every October for Halloween, and it's really fun. It's for kids or anybody that just loves Halloween. And I was one of the authors that I wrote a short story, and I recorded myself reading it. And then Fright Vision on a Friday night, they had a set of authors, including Calvin Ellis and a few others that read their stories, and then they posted them during the live feed and whatever. And Nichi was actually the one that put my name out there to Joe, aka Culliver Krantz, the guy that runs Fright Vision, and that's my current work in progress right now. Is I'm writing the middle grade book for that.
Yes, I can't wait.
And so that's pretty cool. So thanks for coming in. Glad to see you there, Joe.
Fright Vision is amazing. It is so much fun, and my oldest absolutely loves it. Forget kids. I love them. And I'm an old person. So I talk about them all the time. Yeah, naughty librarian. Listen, I can poke my eyeballs right through. You see this? I'm just trying to join the group of glasses here. So mine are fake.
Required.
Okay, let me see. It looks like we might have him back here. And we'll give him time right away.
There
Go,
it is.
Damien, go.
Yeah.
Quick, Damien, introduce
you
yourself.
You should see this thing. I'm trying to set my phone up now because my computer keeps giving me to boot. So I've got like all these books and like this like tape. It's pretty crazy looking.
It looks good though.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mike.
that's it.
Mike!
You're here in spirit.
Mike.
Look, the ghost of Mike Salt. Sorry.
My screen was like, I'm gonna go to comments real quick, so I couldn't see anything. Sorry. We should be okay now.
Go for it before you get kicked.
Oh yeah, okay. I was introducing myself. Sorry. I think someone kicked me on purpose. Was it? It was cool guy Kyle, probably. So I'm Damian Casey. I write horror comedy. I've got a few things that I've put out: Pup, Aphid, Stories Christians Have to Read, and Read Backwards, 51. I don't have any handy to show like the cool cover like everybody else did, but I've got a Choose Your Own Adventure book coming out in the next couple months. Actually, it's kind of a play
CJ
on
coming through.
Shadow over Innsmouth, so that'll be cool. But I don't know what else to say in these situations.
I got one.
Oh,
There
he's
you
got
go.
one.
There you
There
go.
it is. There's
Perfect.
51. That's my latest, actually.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
yeah. Kyle's got the good
Well done.
hair.
Kyle has to rep the hair since Mike didn't show up.
Yeah.
Mike would have put us all to shame though. That's the thing.
Tim's in the chat, Tim Meyer. So we got some pretty good hair here tonight.
Yeah.
I actually
I'm
cut my
jealous.
hair yesterday for this, but I had a whole mane. I looked like Mike Salt's default picture when I woke up in the morning. But I can't do it. I'm in a hot garage.
I
I'd
want
be
a Mike
dying.
Salt plushie that I could like hold that has like the hair. That'd be really cool.
Like a treasure
Well,
troll.
It says
Yeah.
catchphrases when you hit it.
Yeah. Like,
Sit it
fuck
on
off.
Are you
I fucking
gonna
killed another one.
Yeah.
Are you gonna cuddle it, or are you just gonna have it on your nightstand and let it stare at you while you sleep?
Both? I don't know.
Both.
Both.
Ooh, get a good.
Maybe
I
it'll
just
have like
Motivational advice.
like phrases or something. I don't know. It'll be really. Maybe it'll have smells. We talked about that earlier. Maybe when you hit it instead of words, it'll like leak some sort of a smell, like something good, but then maybe something in the middle of the night will go fart, and then you have to like throw it. They make baby toys that poop and pee. We bought our kids
That's
some
true.
stupid dog thing, and you feed it stuff, and it poops it out, and you have to pick it up. It's like, who?
I saw that. There is a
Dumb.
weird obsession
So
with
dumb.
poop things for toys right now, like more than previous years. It's a little unsettling.
Hey, don't
It
kink
is
shame.
unsettling.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah,
the
you're
rainbow
into what you're into.
toys.
That's okay.
Hey, what if I'm really into dog poop toys?
We don't kink shame on this channel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We're not even talking
That's my
about books
statement.
or author stuff. We're talking about
We're just
poop.
talking about poop.
The dolls of Mike Salt.
We all knew this is
I
where
missed the
this was
memo. I
going.
guess this is the book chat. I forgot. Okay.
Crybaby dolls.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, let's jump right into your guys' books. I want to know, CJ, you haven't been on here before. The other fellas have had a pleasure of being on here before, and that's right. It is a damn pleasure to be on here.
It is.
It is.
Thank you.
But why don't you tell us a little bit where the inspiration for your piece came from? What made you write it?
I think I've always kind of had a huge love for all that creepy stuff, like I said before. But after having kids, I don't know. There's a ton of stuff out there that you can find. And there's a lot of great horror, especially for kids. And even in recent years, there's been a whole bunch of new awesome stuff. But when I had my first kid, I was like, man, I just wish there was something that was like tapping into that. Those Stephen Gamel, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but the illustrations from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark were the stuff of nightmares, but they're amazing. You still loved them when you were a kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to tell stories, because I know my art is kind of good. It's not Stephen Gamel good, but so I wanted to do illustrations and then have stories that were just as messed up as those illustrations that I grew up on. And somehow still make it for kids. I was also working on a children's picture book first, actually. That was the first thing I wanted to do, because I just love, there's something about kids' books to me. I'm a big kid myself, and I love reading them with my kids. So I wanted something that would be really fun for my girls and had monsters in it. And I started working on that. And then as I was writing that, I just got the urge to write more and more darker stuff. So I wanted to go up from children's books to middle grade. And now, after writing this, I got the urge to write some real dark stuff. So on I just about finished slasher horror novel that I'm very excited about. Damien knows. Damien's actually my Zeta reader.
I've got to read it. It's pretty good. It's extremely good.
Thank you. You're making me blush.
It doesn't look like it. It just I can't see it.
My face is always red, so.
You're just always red.
You guys all have.
I didn't notice
dark.
any red, so that was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to jump down to Kyle because we're going to kind of mix and match. Kyle, do you get lots of messages from people, your readers, asking you what happened with your piece and not able to wrap their mind around it, or is it just me?
I mean, I wish people would write me more.
What? Really?
No, I mean, I think people leave it in reviews. You know, I think people say things like it's they didn't expect what was going on, or they didn't know what was going on until towards the end, and when they did, they were, you know, like, what the hell, what the fuck, you know, just things people have said, like, oh, fuck your brain. And I'm like, you know, I appreciate those things. I feel like I've read and seen things that are more brain fuckable. I don't know if that's a word, but
we'll make it one.
It's now one. Brain fucky.
It is now.
And
brain fucky.
Brain fucky.
Brain tucky. Brain tucky.
That's under Brainiana. So anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's nice. It's a compliment. I appreciate it. And I tried to make it weird. And I think compared to some other things, it might be. Like I just said yesterday, someone was like, oh, it's bizarro. It's not cosmic horror. And I was like, okay, like, who gives a shit? Like, it's both then, or whatever. I mean, I put it under what I thought was most, you know, it seemed feasible. But if you want to call it that too, that's cool. I don't care. Read the book. Who cares? You know, it just happens to fall mostly under this, under the horror label, and whichever subgenre you want, you can put it there. But it just happens to have, you know, there's a triangle on the front, so it has to be cosmic horror. That's what somebody said once. So,
do you want to tell people what it's about for anybody that may not know or have heard about it?
Yeah, sure. Don't kick your computer.
Or do.
It takes place in 1986, which there are good reasons for that. It's not just a cheap retro 80s thing. My father was in catering and food service, and this is sort of what I know most, and so I thought I'd write something about it. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be weird if there was a story about an assistant manager like my dad was, who gets a call one day from somebody who needs catering for like an extreme food club, and this guy decides to do it, but he does it on the slide because he wants to make some money to get out from underneath his asshole boss, who doesn't. And when he does it, it turns out that he's pretty much catering a dinner for like a cosmic entity, which is basically this thing called Mr. Dinosaur. And for people who've never read the book, I kind of gave a little bit away there, but it's not really that much. I mean, you could probably see that coming from a miles away. So anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I threw in a really raunchy occult, all woman biker gang, and some dead people, and there's handlebar mustaches and some John Cougar Mellencamp references, and mostly because I grew up on all that crap. So it's just, you know, it's just dirtbag Southwest Indiana stuff without cell phones. If you really want to.
How do you grow up on a handlebar mustache?
Carefully.
Let me tell you.
Where's the real estate? Like,
you just have to find the biggest follicle and hang on to it for dear life, and then not.
Yeah.
Hang on and ride it.
Yeah, that's it.
I have a question, if I can, for Kyle.
Absolutely not. Yeah, go for it.
Not my show. When you were writing it, did you have like a fan cast in your head who would play the characters? when you wrote it?
Nichi, I'm doing the Brady Bunch thing. Nichi asked me that question last time. Or she said, somebody asked me who they'd cast. And I was like, to be honest with you, I didn't have anybody in my brain because it's first person. I thought of myself in that role, but like, I wouldn't cast myself in the movie of it. I don't know who it would be. The more I've thought about this, I think it would be if like John C. Reilly in his younger days, that'd be perfect.
I could see that.
But like he's too old for that now. So if there was somebody who is, because it has to be somebody who's like can't be older than 30, and they'd kind of have to be a bit dorky, but also
Michael Cera.
Yeah, but man, I don't know.
Josh.
Josh.
He's too strong.
Josh
I'm
from
looking at
Marsella.
him right here.
Let Josh do it.
Dorky.
You guys should all get together and you should play it out or make up your own little skit or something.
To reenact each other's books. And make little movies, little vignettes.
and put it on YouTube for everyone to watch.
I'd watch that.
That's the scary part, isn't it? Like putting it up, like.
I know.
It's not the content; it's the reenactment part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they all realize that we can't act.
Why did you do this, Nichi? How dare you?
Sorry.
Right.
I act every day on my videos. What are you talking about? I'm not as sweet as you think I am.
It's not even Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Go for it.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on these comments here. We have Salty Mike here.
Ooh, Andy Samberg.
Yes,
that would be
that
a
would
pretty
be a
good
good
one.
I could see
Yeah. Palm Springs was an amazing movie. I feel like he's got range. He could do that.
I just watched that like a week ago with my wife, and I loved that movie so much.
Yeah.
It was meant to be. That's the one right there. If you ever have it adapted into film, there you go.
I'll be sure to tell Hollywood to lead to that.
Yeah, I need Andy. Or Josh. Josh from Marsella. Have you heard
I
of
can
Josh?
just tell one of my neighbors. I'm in SoCal.
Perfect. There you
One
go.
of them has to work there.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
in like
exciting.
the contract, like you can have the rights only if Andy or Josh is playing the character.
Yeah.
So that's a really good question then, is you were saying that you wish that your readers would reach out to you more. Do you guys all feel that way? Would you like to have more interaction with people that have read and reviewed your book? Do you find that you get like the perfect amount? Is there anything specific that they say about one of your pieces that they've read or one that they couldn't handle? Or should I just pick one person? Damien, how about you?
I think anybody in here kind of knows that I kind of am a social butterfly, so to speak. Like I like talking to everybody. So yeah, I'd love if more people would talk to me. Like, I don't know, it gets lonely at times. So
Sometimes
Damien.
Damien and I are talking both on Instagram and Twitter at the same time.
At the same time, we do that
and
too.
I'm the same with CJ too. Like it's just like I
Constantly.
can't stop. I don't know what it is about me. I didn't talk for so long in my life that now, like when I get the chance, I can't
Catching
shut
up.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's something
it's true.
to be said about that, like especially with the writing community. I feel like because I mean, with my friends and stuff, I'm a big talker, and with my family, but like I don't know, I'm pretty introverted. But when it comes to the writing community and Twitter and stuff, like I'm just reaching out to people left and right, and it's just a weird new thing to me. And now I have like best friend, this guy down here is the best.
Wrong way.
Yeah, there we go.
It's mirror. I'm pointing the right way, and there we go.
Everybody, the circle.
E.T. E.T.
Oh no! Oh, I missed it.
Elliot.
Don't message Damien. He talks too much and he's too nice.
Too nice.
Okay, Mike. I'll be nice. I'll be meaner to you then. You know, like
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
maybe you'll
it.
apologize.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think Damien's actually Canadian, and I think he needs to come across the border
Yes,
over
yeah.
here and hang with us. I'll welcome him with open arms. Come
Well,
be part of the
I'm
nice
packing
people.
my bags now. I'm going.
That's right.
I'm on my
That's
way.
right.
That's why
What
I
about
kept
you?
logging off.
What about you, Josh? Do you wish that your reviewers or your readers would talk to you more, or have any of them opened up and said, like I couldn't read that, or this was the best thing ever? Other than
I've
me.
had both. I get a lot of messages, and I appreciate every single one of them. Whether it's people like on Twitter, or friends I went to high school with that are like surprised I did anything with my life. They're like, "Man, I really, enjoyed that. Like, it's a great book." Yeah, it's always a great feeling. Even if I've even had people, a friend of mine messaged me and mentioned one scene in particular and said it was really hard for her to read. Is there anything else like that in the book? Because she may not be able to finish it. And that's why I recently went back and did content warnings in my books, because I do like, I feel like I have an obligation to, take care of people who are willing to read my books. So I don't want to like hurt anybody or, re-traumatize anybody. And I feel like content warnings, what I do is I put like a disclaimer in the front saying, go to the back of the book if you want a content warning, and then they can do that. And I think it's a good thing for me to do it, because that way I can kind of write what I want. And I'm not like, I don't feel like worried about, people that when they read the warning, they kind of have an idea. But no, I love when people reach out to me and say they love the book, or they can't wait to read the next one, or a couple people, like, we just go back and forth, or they're like, how did you get into this? It's funny that the questions people come up with, it's not always about the book. It's just about like, how did you, come about writing, or where did the idea from this story come from? And it's always great, because it's, these are your babies. It's just like talking about my kids. I love talking about my kids. I love talking about my books. I love hearing, things that, people love about my books. And it's also nice to hear like what didn't work for people, because then you can kind of, it's kind of what's nice about having like beta readers and stuff. My wife is my like first reader most of the time, like lately, especially with short stories and stuff, and getting picked up by a publisher and all that. It's been a little harder to get her to read my stuff first before I send it off. But she's always had really good feedback and what works, what doesn't. So yeah, anytime someone wants to message me and tell me what they thought of it, whether they loved it or hated it, or this character was despicable or anything, I love hearing that. It's always good to talk about it and hear what people think. So yeah, absolutely.
I just received my very first book with content warnings, and it was a copy of Below by Kev Harrison from Silver Shamrock. And when I was looking through it, I was like, "Oh, look, there's this is the first one that that's got content warnings." And of course, I shared all my stories, and I said, "Look, kidnapping and cannibalism. People, if that bothers you, stay away from Below." Yeah. So
and it's hard because a lot of people do worry about spoilers. That's why I kind of did it where I put a disclaimer in the front saying, if this may contain like content warning, if please go to the back of the book, it may contain spoilers. And then it just basically lists, without getting into detail, it just lists some of the themes of the book. Obviously, Scratches is, it gets pretty dark. It has some themes in there that may be triggering for a lot of people. Same thing with Severed. In fact, one woman gave Severed 1 star. She's like, I love this book until it got to this one scene, and I didn't know this scene was going to be in it. Otherwise, I never would have read it. And so she gave it 1 star, and I was like, hey, that's your prerogative. But it's kind of like hinted in Scratches, so that's why I always recommend reading Scratches first, because it is a prequel. It does kind of tell you what's going to happen, but it's still, it's its own story. Like, it's completely different. A lot of people don't expect what happens in Severed to happen, so it is kind of, it's a nice feeling. So yeah, but that's why I put them in there.
That's
true.
The content warning, the way you did it is really clever, because it's something you can only do with a physical medium that you can't do with like a movie, right? The movie will put things like, adult content, nudity, cursing, smoking, whatever. And then you see it, and then well, there's nudity in this. So something's going to happen, or whatever's going to happen. But if they're just like, there's no way we can do that. If it was like, we're going to flash everything that's up here in 3 seconds, so don't look. No one would do that, unfortunately, right? But with a book, you can say, hey, if you're interested, go to the back and check it out. I think that's a really clever way to do that. You allow people to just kind of blow past it if they don't care, and if people are super interested, they can deal with it. I still think, though, I'd be interested to know what would happen if, and I wonder maybe if this has happened yet, where people who've gone through that. Well, actually, I don't know how far those books with the content warning have been out yet, like that. But if someone down the road
new, hey,
still new, if someone comes down, say they read Kev's book, or say they read Josh's new versions that come out with it, and they say, you know, it still bothered me. Well, then you're kind of like,
I'm sorry, Kyle. I'm not laughing at you.
No, it's okay. You can keep laughing at the comments.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, that's definitely it's the thing about content warnings. That's why they're so controversial, is because you never know what's triggering for somebody, and you do your best as an author to include like everything you could think of that could possibly be triggering, but you don't know if somebody finds oatmeal triggering, or you know what I mean, like
or
general
something
things like that.
blood.
So yeah, you kind of got to do your best. And you know, I hope people come out of reading my book and think, damn, that was messed up, like, you know, that really affected me. But the fact that I have those content warnings in there, you know, it kind of takes some of the weight off my shoulders. Like I can say, you know, at least it's there, at least I'm giving it to you, even if you don't care about it or don't want to read it. That's why then it says, like, please proceed with caution, like in the content warning, because I am warning you, you know, and that's the least I could do. And I mean, it's not a requirement that people do it, but I've seen a lot of discussion, a lot of dialogue going on about it, and that was just something, because my books do get really dark. Right. Yeah, Mike,
I'm not for or against, to be honest. To me, it's like, if people want to do it, they should do it. If people don't want to do it, they shouldn't do it. And I feel like if you don't do it and people want it and you don't read your book, that's the risk you take. And so that's how that works. One of the things I was thinking about was, especially with horror, is like, take Ari Aster's movies, for example, like Midsummer and Hereditary. I'm the kind of person who, I'm watching this movie and I go, I know something fucked up is going to happen. And I can't sit here and wait for it to happen. So I go on to my phone and I read the plot while I'm watching it, so I know what's going to happen. And I'm like, that's so fucked up. And then I'm ready. And then somehow it makes me, I'm okay with it. But I did it with Hereditary, but I did it with Midsummer. And there's that scene where everybody knows what I'm talking about, where I had like body tingles. I felt numb when that happened.
Yeah, where the guy steals the other guy's homework. Yep.
That one, where the oatmeal came out. I was so anxious about that. When it was finally over, I was sort of like, okay, very few movies have ever made me feel that way psychically and physically before. But had I known that was coming, I probably wouldn't have been as amped up about that. But there is a thing where, and I'm going to use an analogy from Frog and Toad here, because I read that to my kids.
Yes.
Where Frog tells Toad a scary story about the big dark frog. And he says, don't you want the shivers, Toad? And Toad's like, what? And he's like, because the shivers makes you feel good on the other side. And I'm not arguing for anything one way or another. I was just saying, like, for me, I don't, if I was to read that, it'd be taken away from me for some reason. But I probably feel like there's also stuff where, I don't know, I had a friend who was a big Game of Thrones fan, and then he had his first kid. And this was like in the 3rd season, so stuff was still intense. And he was like, fuck it, I'm out. I can't do it. And I was like, hey, I get that. I mean, after I had my first kid, I was kind of like, I can't watch things that are, I still can't deal with stuff with like kids. Like a friend of mine was like talking about the Daybell murders or something like that, out in California or something like that. It's all with kids. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. I can't handle that shit.
Yeah.
So it's just like
Serbian film. I can't. I don't.
No, so I can't handle it. I can't watch really in the beginning Home Alone, because I'm like, who leaves their kid? I know you have 8 kids.
It really changes the movie, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's funny. I know content warnings is it's a sensitive topic right now because of all the controversy, but it seems to be that no matter what, we didn't like, it just kind of came into the conversation. There wasn't even anything that kind of triggered it. Oh, and I just used the word trigger. It didn't come into the comments. Nobody asked what your guys' thoughts were, but it seems to be that every live show, every discussion that I have, even if it's private, They seem to pop up. I'm also kind of on the unpopular opinion. I'm kind of sitting like right in the middle as an avid reader. I'm kind of neither for or against at all. I agree with a lot of what Kyle said, but I also agree with what Em said here, where she said that she just likes to kind of go into the book with the unknown. And sometimes those could potentially give spoilers. I would say that I understand where people are coming from when they ask for content warnings. I understand that there could be somebody dealing with PTSD. There could be a mother that just recently lost her child. There could be somebody that just lost a family member, or they've gone through something traumatizing themselves, whether they just, found out that they're now cancer free or something like that. But I think personally that we shouldn't necessarily put that against the authors and the publishers to take care of that, because you can't cover everybody's triggers across the world. They're so subjective to each person. So to me, I think it's really up to the reader to do their own research and their own due diligence to looking into the book, whether it be read the synopsis, maybe look at some non-spoiler reviews of it, check out some videos about it, ask a friend maybe if they've read it, or somebody that you trust, because we are the only ones that know our own personal triggers. So I feel that even if we put content warnings on books, people are still going to be offended about something because it wasn't mentioned as a trigger or a content warning, and it's something that triggers them, right? So I think it's such a touchy thing. I really think the onus and the responsibility needs to be on the reader, because we know what affects us. And for example, if you read the back of a synopsis of a thriller book and it says that a woman is trying to piece back her life and put her life back together after a traumatizing moment that happened 3 years ago. Well, right away, even if that's all it says, you can decide, there could be abuse, violence in here. It could be the loss of a child. It could be rape. So you can put all those kind of together in your mind, and you kind of have an idea of what you may be jumping into before you read it, right? So that's where I understand the whole reason for them, and I understand where people are coming from and where the need is. But at the same time, I think that a lot of the onus should really be on the reader themselves to do what they need to do, knowing themselves, to do the proper research, to really look into things before they jump into that book, especially if it's in horror. Yeah. I'm sorry, but
that's fine. I was a little worried about it because Unsettling Legends is a kid book, but there's a couple in here that there's really no happy ending. It's not to spoil anything, but it gets pretty dark. And I put in the foreword, it was before all this was even being talked about that much, just because I wanted to make sure that if a kid's going to be reading it, they know, hey, this gets a little dark. So I put in the foreword, these tales are designed to make you squeamish, make you feel a little, unsettling, just to kind of let them know what they're getting into, I guess. But I didn't put a straight up content warning in there. But yeah. The last story deals with, it's called The Red Square in the White Room. And it's basically just a man that wakes up in a white room with one red square in the floor, and he tries to muscle his way through the red square, and it hurts. And it's really kind of it's almost like a splatterpunk kind of story. I don't know.
Well, you have me intrigued.
It feels gorier than it is.
The title alone. And I'm sorry, CJ, I'm not laughing at you. Mike keeps putting in these funny comments. Fine. Mike, you're getting me in trouble here. People are being serious, and I'm laughing at your comments.
I think, what kind of kills me is, why is it such a big deal? The content warnings, who really, there's all these detractors, and I'm like, why are you so upset about it? If someone wants to do it, then what is it doing to you? Why are you so mad? Why is it? That's what I don't understand about it. I'm kind of with Kyle or Nichi on this. I'm kind of all over the board about it. And I also think, like Josh said, it's definitely something you should have if there's something that you yourself have concerning that you should warn people. But I just don't understand how it's become this big thing where people are like, oh man, if you put that in your book, it's why do you care that much? The darn out.
It doesn't seem like it should be as controversial as it is.
Yeah,
it's
but it is
requiring it. It's not like that, and I totally agree with everything that's been said here. It's throughout my whole 20s, after I returned from the military, I could not watch certain horror movies, and I've been a horror fanatic my whole life, but certain like extremely gory or realistic like torture type movies or extremely emotional things would set me off. And it's not like I would watch it and be like, oh, I'm so upset, you know, I'm triggered. It's like my body would literally react in a certain way. I would go into like a panic attack. I'd have to leave the room, and my wife or whoever I was with at the time would be like, where'd he go? Because I was like lying on the floor in the next room because, like Kyle said, he had this reaction that he wasn't expecting to have. And that's what happens with me. Like I start sweating. And in fact, I've probably mentioned this in a few live streams, but we went right before the pandemic, we went and saw It Chapter 2. And there's a scene, you know, it's not like, I mean, I can handle it because it's all CGI and stuff, but it was a really realistic scene with Eddie and Henry Bowers. And it totally caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it. And my body just like, I started getting dizzy. I'm like, literally my whole body was sweat. And my wife was like looking at me, and I'm like, I gotta get out of here. And I left the theater, and she stayed there. I ended up passing out in the lobby, landed on my knee and tore my ACL in my knee. And the people that work there are like, what is this guy on drugs? Like, what's going on? And I came to after like probably a minute or two of being unconscious. And I was in rough shape. And I was like, no, sorry guys, I'm a vet. Like something triggered me in the movie. And that's kind of, you know, I kind of had to do some soul searching myself because I was like dead set against them for a while. I'm like, I write horror. You got to expect the worst. You know, you got to expect horrific stuff in this genre. But then I realized, like, you know, I set those expectations for myself, but I still get triggered by things. And I actually got physically injured by something like that. And the fact of, like, I like to write what I want to write, and I like to get dark and you know, write some bad shit. The fact that like I could possibly physically injure somebody by triggering them the same way I was triggered, kind of like that's like a responsibility, you know, that I bear as an author. And it's not like I'm saying like everybody has to do it. I'm going to be mad and I'm going to rant about it. Absolutely not. It's something that I just chose for myself because, you know, from my own experience. And I also agree, like what Nichi said, holding yourself accountable, knowing your limits. You can't always go into a movie knowing what's going to happen, but you just got to be careful. And if, like, I remember reading Off Season by Jack Ketchum years ago. I was sitting in getting my oil changed, and like one of the first scenes in the book is just this girl getting my oil changed. That's what we call it nowadays. No, I was like sitting at a Toyota dealership. On that one. And the scene is like this woman being chased by these cannibals, and it's really intense, and it's like I was not expecting whatsoever, but it was like my heart was pounding, and I was getting nervous and like freaking out, and I stopped reading it, and I'm like, you know, it was like triggering me, and because it was really intense, and like she was getting cut here and there, and so I stopped reading it for months, actually years, and I put it down. And finally, I read it like either this year or last year, I can't remember, and loved it. And it was a great book. But I think it's because I've slowly desensitized myself by reading so much horror and watching so much horror movies now. Like but still some things like catch me off guard. And I don't want to spend the whole conversation on this, you know, this topic. But
it's funny. This topic is very popular, but I think it's funny that a lot of people mentioned movies because it's interesting because a lot of it, to me, I could understand them putting viewers discretion advised on a TV show or a movie, because even kids shows now, they've got adult humor in it. They've got a lot of them have curses or swears or something like that I might think is okay for my 4-year-old. And unfortunately, once they've seen it or heard it, they've heard it. Like, there's no way to turn it off. But there are some books that have those shocking, crazy scenes in it that you're not expecting. But a lot of the time, there's a little bit of a workup to it. Like, you know something's coming. And either you got to decide, okay, you know what? I need to put this book down. This is not for me. Or it's, okay, I can do this. All right, I can do this. I can get through this, right? So, but, you know, in a show, it's in your face. And it's so visual. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, but I mean, I saw this one comment and it made me laugh because I thought, yes, because when I was young and I saw a TV show or a movie say viewers discretion is advised, I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch this one now. Sit down, get popcorn.
Sometimes like with scratches, the reason I was so against it is because the part of my book that would require a trigger warning, I feel, is the major twist in the book. And it would really, if I was to mention exactly what happens in the content warning, it would totally spoil the twist. And that's what kind of like people love about the book is the twist. And so that's why I ultimately decided to include them, but they're in the back of the book. People that don't want to read them don't have to read them. So yeah, that's, you know what I mean? I was dead, like just even a couple weeks ago, I was like dead set against them and was like, no way, I write horror, get over it. You know, I was being one of those guys, and now I can totally understand it doesn't hurt anybody to include them. And it's not like I'm saying everyone in this panel should start include. It's totally the author and the publisher's decision whether to include them or not. Maybe they're not, because I mean, like you said, you can never tell what's going to trigger somebody, and it's very subjective.
Yeah. I've even seen people add like warnings in reviews or on Goodreads of just blood, just even the word blood. And I'm like, but I mean, gosh, you could see like there's blood in so many books, all genres, not just horror. Like how
just Instagram.
Yeah,
just like looking at like the promo for Jacob's wife on Shutter is just like blood.
Yeah,
I saw somebody write a trigger warning in their book review for death.
Oh, man,
and I was like, so then I wrote a poll. I'm like, do people really need a trigger warning for death in a horror book? Like, and like 80% said no. But that was just me being like, but because it does seem pretty like foolish. But you know what I mean? There are some things that do, like, you know, child death or like infant death is completely different than like mailman death or like, you know what I mean? So it's
mailman.
Like,
what about booktubers? Listen,
Quaker oatmeal death,
booktuber death, breakfast death. I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
I want to ask him.
The quiet guy.
Yeah,
Damien.
I don't mean to be quiet. I just don't shut up when I start.
Here's a question. No, this is something Moist is a fantastic word. You're just saying that because you're salty. Damien, so why would you say, would you still be writing horror comedy if trauma didn't exist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But would you have as much inspiration if it wasn't the case?
Actually, I didn't get into trauma until a little bit later in life. I've always kind of, I guess this kind of ties in with the same thing. I've always loved the corny 80s horror comedies like Ghoulies and Critters and things like that that are just really lighthearted.
Those scared the shit out of me as a kid, though.
The Critters did?
Critters did, yeah.
Puppet Master scared me to death when I was little.
What?
Because nobody was there to like tell me that it was funny. I didn't understand that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry they did that.
Damien, you're getting a little judgmental now.
I'm sorry. I mean, I don't mean.
You're getting a little judgmental.
No. Hey, here's the flip side to this, right? There's Critters, right? But then I remember watching Killer Clowns from Outer Space not too long after that, and like being like, "This is hilarious." Like the T-Rex shadow eats the people, and you're like, that's awesome and hilarious. And so there was something about it being terrifying and yet also funny, whereas Critters for some reason just scared the bejesus out of me.
I guess it's kind of like a preference, because like I can't. I'll probably get pictures now, and I hope I don't. But I can't hardly do anything with Santa Claus. Like I just can't. I have a phobia of Santa Claus, and it was hell working in retail. And it sucks. So I try to avoid, I can't watch a lot of holiday horror stuff, but other things I can watch that other people are like, well, that's kind of terrifying. I think it's just a preference thing. I don't know.
I'm kind of the same way just because I love Santa and Christmas so much. I don't want it tarnished. It's my Christmas.
Well, mine was tarnished at the age of like 7. So,
Tremors is hick too.
Yes, Tremors is.
Tremors just doesn't know when to stop, though.
It's over. It's done.
Is it done now?
The spaceship is landing.
What was that?
That's probably my air conditioner. It's like right next to me.
Oh.
Sorry.
CJ's got to keep cool, you know?
Yeah.
He's in SoCal.
It doesn't come in here. It goes in the rest of the house. So
oh, no. You're sitting in the sauna.
He gets the one fan that blows the warm air
exhaust.
That's too Kyle's defense, though, anything when I was little that was a horror movie with something like waist high or lower scared the crap out of me because I had a long bathroom, and in the middle of the night, I thought that whatever it was, leprechaun, critters, the toys
Troll,
from Puppet Master, troll,
Gate.
Oh, trolls.
to get to
yes.
that toilet, they were gonna pop out of the cabinets just because they want to
can.
kill me.
They will.
And, it was
An
just in
American
my head
Tail,
every
Five
time.
Goes West.
I remember when my brother brought home a movie and his buddy was sleeping over and I was just young, and I'm sure it was called Trolls or The Trolls. I can't remember what it was, but one of the movies, they had just moved into a house and there was a troll living underneath the stairs, and she dropped her basketball down the stairs and she was
Troll.
terrified to go to, was that
Troll.
Trolls?
Troll,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Troll.
listen, I watched that when I was so young, and still that one scene is just like burnt into my brain, and I was freaking out, and I was yelling at them to turn it off, and like how, and now I look at myself and think, God, Nikki, you're pathetic.
No. Those are all terrifying. House, Pumpkinhead. I remember I was with a couple of guys, and we were hanging out with dudes. No, we were like 6.
Hey guys.
And we were at their house, one guy's house, and they're like, "We're gonna watch Pumpkinhead," and I was like, paralyzed with fear. And I
Yeah.
remember the only way I can get through this, because they were gonna call me names if I left, was I laid on my back and watched it upside down to sort of defamiliarize it a little bit, so I didn't actually have to watch it. And so
Yes.
I that's the only way I survived Pumpkinhead, was to pull some trickery on Ernest Scared Stupid. I love that movie. All the Ernest
Oh,
movies
yeah,
are
yeah.
amazing.
Did you guys watch Salute Your Shorts?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
remember Zeke the plumber?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Oh my
That-
god!
With like the mask.
Traumatizing.
Yes.
The plunger.
You baby. Oh,
So
man.
here's a question. I got a question for you guys. What is the first like adult horror movie that you watched, and how old were you? That's my question.
Poltergeist considered adult?
Well, I mean, it's rated PG, but it's 80s
Yeah, so-
PG.
I
which
guess
is
what do you
like-
mean? Yeah, what do you mean by like adult?
Like
Like
rated R or rated like I guess PG-13, but rated R, I'll say. What was your first? And was it on TV or was it like?
and you wanted to watch it? You sat down to purposely watch it?
Not necessarily. I mean, your parents made you watch it because they were like idiots. A lot of parents were in the 80s.
Well, I think
calling your parents out.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was like 4 or 5. Yeah, it had to be 4 or 5 when my mom put Poltergeist on for the first time. But the first like R horror movie was Child's Play, and I was at my friend's
Ooh.
house, and they were the 2 cool kids in town who their parents let them do whatever they want. And I'm like, we're gonna watch Chucky, and I was like, I don't know, and they're like, no, it's fine, it's a killer doll, it's not even scary, and I was pretty terrified, but. And I just tried to laugh at all the jokes, like over laugh to like make myself feel better. Like it's not funny. I mean, it's not scary. It's funny.
Damien was making
That's
fun of us, going, "What? You thought that was scary?" And he's so scared he left again.
That's actually the first one I saw was that I can remember. I was like 5 years old, 1989, was Child's Play, and I gotta say the first Child's Play is much darker than the other ones. They kind of like started getting like a little more comedy horror towards like number 2 and 3, but number 1 was like when he starts screaming at the woman and swearing, like the mother and swearing at her. That was pretty intense. I
The
was like
doll
5 years
cursing
old.
was scarier to me than the
Yeah.
murders, honestly.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. That was my first one too. That was.
How do you guys
1989.
remember this?
Yeah,
Is that like
It's in-
a talent that authors have?
You're just a nervous system, and so you're just
Yeah.
absorbing impressions. And horror is the one genre that is most attacking your nervous system. And so I think
Mhm.
that's when it really and also you're so young and impressionable.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Kids
I think
like to be scared.
They do like to be scared
Yes.
with boundaries, right? They need that.
yeah.
So I was just thinking, I think this might not be the answer or the ultimate one. If you were to seek in my memory, you might find something farther back, but the one that I can go I think is probably the best answer is I do remember watching Night Shift. Was it Night Shift? No, what was the one?
Graveyard
Stephen King
Shift?
had it. Graveyard Shift.
Yeah.
Where with the giant rat
Yeah.
beast thing. Yeah.
Yep.
So that
Caught in the mail.
was, I remember watching that with some friends when we went out of town, and we were watching the movie, and being with them, and they were older, I felt safe, and so it was fun to like watch it and be scared, but also make jokes, and so that was a big deal.
That's
I think
definitely a good one.
I was probably watching all kinds of stuff. My dad was very afraid of horror and demon stuff. He couldn't deal with it because he thought it was like, it was too real or
Blasphemous.
something. No, not blasphemous. Like he thought it would happen or something. Or he was just like,
Yeah.
"Don't fuck with demons" or something.
Watching it will bring it out.
Yeah. But he. This is also the same guy who fell asleep in the theater watching Alien. My mother. Told me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe that
So,
has to do with it.
so I don't know.
Subconsciously.
That my mom used to watch all kinds of stuff on TV, and I specifically remember one thing that was very, very graphic was that scene in the first Batman where the Joker grabs the guy with the buzzer and burns him to death. And I remember sort of being shocked by that. That was a really dark movie in a lot of ways. There's a lot of horror in that.
That actually reminds me.
Oh, and
that-
Beetlejuice. Obviously, I've written about this before. I mean, Beetlejuice was like...
Beetlejuice.
But
scared
that's
to
just
death.
such a fucking different movie because of the comedy and, you know...
Yeah,
What
but
about
when you're a
Drunken
kid,
Fred?
Different.
I just watched that recently as an adult, and I finally got the jokes. But when you're a kid, nothing made sense to me, and like the practical effects in that were amazing, and it was like it was pretty dark, like for like kids to watch it and stuff. And
the whole premise of it is like
Everyone's forgetting that we're talking to authors here. These are all brilliant, fantastic authors that you should be going out and buying their work, picking it up, reading it, and making sure you leave a review across any platform you possibly can. Amazon, Goodreads, specifically Amazon, so that they can get like into deals like BookBub and stuff like that.
Still smells good.
Sorry, I had to do like a little push there.
Thanks, CJ. Thanks.
There you go. Put your hand right up here. There you go.
I like this. I like this because then I can ask you guys, as horror authors, what genre of horror, if you could, would you write a movie about? Would you do a paranormal? Would you do a slasher? If you were to write a movie, if you were to do a screenplay?
I mean, the whole reason that I started writing the one I'm working on now is because I really, really want to. I mean, I can't like even to my own horn yet because it's not even done. But so I don't know if it would be good enough to do this. But what I really want is to make new slasher icon villains, just new Hollywood monsters. You know, I feel like everything.
It's good enough to do it.
Yeah, thank you.
It's definitely good enough
We
to
grew
do it.
up on like the best Hollywood monsters, but that doesn't mean we have to keep reusing them. Like we can create new ones and have some really cool new shit, and that's just what I want to do. So
this is also why I read indie and small press, because the same thing goes with books. When you're an avid reader, the same story and the same type of characters, the cookie cutters that sit next to each other on the major bookshelves, it gets
I just
boring.
noticed your amazing friggin' moon poster.
yeah.
Oh my god, he's so terrifying.
That is what's that from? Is that like
It's
from
Back
McDonald's.
Tonight from
Yeah,
the
Back
old
Tonight,
McDonald's
man.
commercials when they
It's
started
so
opening late.
Do you know who played him?
No,
Doug Jones.
shut up.
Yeah.
Is
Doug
there
Jones
like a
did-
creature he hasn't played?
I don't know, but he went to my
I was
alma
also
mater.
admiring
Really?
Damien's stuff when he moved. Can you get out of the screen, Damien, so I can admire?
Yeah, Damien,
your-
can you
I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Go get a beer. I love that Good Guys
Well,
poster.
I
It was
almost,
friggin'
had, I
awesome.
almost had a repeat because my phone, I wasn't prepared to use my phone, so then it was like 10%, and I went, you got to be joking me. So I got up, went and got a charger. The charger didn't work, so then I had to get another charger, and I missed the entire conversation that I wanted to be a part of with horror movies, and now here I am, trying not to cry.
Well,
It's okay.
what is your? We'll go back to it. What's your first adult rated R horror movie, and how old were you? That was the question.
Okay, well, I had very irresponsible parents. Keep this in mind. The first horror movie I ever seen was an old VHS copy of Night of the Living Dead. It was recorded from TV. My grandmother bought me a little hotel TV for my bedroom and a VCR, and I just was like, "Oh, a videotape." So I put it in, and my father was like, "Okay, whatever." And then, probably a year or so later, he had a copy of Return of the Living Dead, and I watched that. And he walks in like near the end, and he goes, "You've been watching this whole movie?" Yep. Oh, okay. So from then on, I was pretty much just like, watching
It was done.
Yeah.
When you got really quiet from then on.
Yeah, but then it
You were
was just,
captivated.
Talking.
yeah, it was just always monsters from then on. Like that's all I ever really watched. Godzilla was the big one for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously the 80s stuff.
How do you guys wear these all the time?
You
Yeah,
just
you
get
You don't even
And
have
then when
any
you take
lenses
them off,
on them.
you
I
feel
don't
like
even
you're
have any
still
lenses, but they keep like sliding down my. See, my fingers can go.
How do
over
we
to
wear
it.
them all the time? Because we can't see without them.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I have a nervous tick where I do this, so now you're like,
Yeah.
making me think
When
about like,
when I don't have glasses on, I still do this.
yeah, I poked myself. in the
Really?
eye.
Yeah, I feel
I got so
phantom
used to them.
glasses
I
on my
actually
feet.
had corrective surgery in like 2013.
Ears.
I still wear them, like, because I have I can't see TVs and stuff like when I'm like clearly when I'm not wearing them. So I spent like I don't know $4,000 on surgery and I still wear them. I mean, it's just get used to it. I've had them since like 8 years old. So
I'm sitting
you
here
don't
and I'm
notice
thinking,
them after a while.
they keep sliding down my face. I could
I
just
was
take
gonna
mine off,
say,
but I'm not going
sorry,
to.
newbie.
because-
Spectacle newbie.
Going back to the first horror movies that we saw, I think RoboCop and Terminator 2
Oh yeah.
were two movies that I watched very young because they were just action movies at the time, and that was the cool thing to do was go see an action movie. And those had some of the most messed up scenes I ever seen. When T-1000 puts the spike through the mom's face in
Yes.
the milk carton, oh my god! And when they just like destroy RoboCop into like putty,
Meat.
yeah, just a pile of meat. Oh my, that like destroyed my brain.
I didn't like
consider
seeing anything
those.
bad happen to mothers. Like Nightmare on Elm Street when Freddy comes into Nancy's room and she's holding the mother's head. I think it's Nancy's room. And then like the mother gets pulled through the door and it's like obviously an inflatable doll. But
Yeah.
those things were very like upsetting to me because my mom was like my only parent growing up, and to see anything bad happen to someone's mom like in a movie, that was very like devastating to me. So the whole milk, it was just too real. It was like, what I mean? I don't know, it's this weird psychological thing. It's probably why I wrote my first book. I was like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like therapy.
For sure.
But yeah.
He wrote his first book because of milk.
Because milk.
It's a good reason.
Yeah. Milk and oatmeal.
Wait, didn't milk come up last time in our last chat?
I think it did. I don't. There's a lot of things that came up in the last chat.
Milky dreams.
Milk.
Same, not some consistency. Same color, maybe.
Oh, thank you.
Dark between milk. Dark between
Dark
milk.
between milk.
The channel.
I would like chunks of mold. Like,
Oh,
is that what
Oh,
we're talking
man.
about here?
The cottage cheese.
Okay, so going back to if you were to write a movie, what genre of horror would you write in? I want to see if we could take all of your guys' genres and try to smash it into one movie and how exciting it would be.
Well, I would probably. I love found footage, but I also love like paranormal, like ghosts and like creepy things like that. So I would probably say I love investigating haunted asylums, and then shit just goes ape shit. Like I love that kind of stuff. So I would say I would love to write a screenplay for a like paranormal investigation. And I mean, obviously I'm describing like the movie Grave Encounters. I love that movie. I don't know why. I'm like obsessed with it. I've watched it probably 100 times, but I like that kind of stuff. Or like Session 9, anything like that where they're investigating and then just things like crazy things start happening. There was one I watched recently. I think it's Korean, and they investigate this haunted asylum, and that was really intense. That's a good one. It's like I can't remember the name of it. Gungeon or something, but it was really good. I love that kind of stuff because my dream is to like go investigate like all the creepy abandoned place, even if they're not like haunted. I just love that kind of stuff. So
I'm already having a hard
I'm a
time
sucker for
of smashing yours and CJ's together
Yeah.
already.
Good luck.
Have them do found footage, and it ends up being a serial killer slasher.
Some dude like sees their post and hunts them down.
Have you seen those posts about the Owl Man? It was just some guy like messing with people.
The darn owls. The darn owls.
Is that what it's from?
No, I don't.
No. There's some guy.
Aloe or owl? You're saying
Owl.
Oh, there's an aloe, like aloe vera. He's
Like
covered in aloe vera.
Sharp plants.
He's the greasy strangler. The aloe strangler.
The moist strangler.
The moist strangler.
Strangler.
What about you, Kyle? What would you create if you were to write a movie? What genre?
You know, I've never really thought about that before until you asked. I
can
mean,
poke
when I was
Damien and come
thinking-
back.
When I was thinking about what like I want to write, like I was thinking about writing something that were two genres that I hadn't seen a lot put together before. I say this and I immediately come up with like the most famous example of my favorite show. I was like, it'd be cool to like mix cosmic horror and detective stuff. I'm like, that's the fucking X-Files. But that's a different story. No, I mean it's more than that. I do like that, and I'd like to write that. I don't know. I'm not a Bigfoot person, and I'm not a cryptid person. Sorry, people. It's not that I don't like it. I'm not into it. But Bobcat Goldthwait did the best Bigfoot movie I've ever seen in my life.
Willow Creek.
Willow Creek was so good. And I have a real now Nikki's gone.
Where did Nikki go? Oh, sorry. That was my sad.
I'm gonna keep talking.
Is that Ludo?
I would say
Elaborate.
No, that was
So there
that
she
was
is.
a Goldthwait. Sad.
Yeah, that's good.
There she is.
I never disappeared. Never. I should have said that. I didn't warn everyone around that hour mark.
Oh,
You know, 5 minutes before, 5 minutes hour.
Bigfoot got you.
Bigfoot.
The
Sasquatch.
monsters got me.
I like
Found
movies
footage.
where
Willow
like Willow Creek, but there's also the last Ty West movie was House of the Devil. Is that what it's called?
That was an early, but yeah.
Was that one of his early ones? Yeah. Was that before The Innkeepers?
Yeah. that was-
So So I like that type of. I know people are bugged by that, where it's like super slow for forever, and then something finally happens and it's really intense. But I think if you do it the right way, I think it can be really effective. And I that Willow Creek is like that, and I think it really amps it up. So I thought, I'm not saying a Bigfoot movie, but perhaps something that is like that would be very interesting. You know, America has so many of these local horror things. Do you remember like Weird Indiana and Weird Illinois and all those like weird state books?
Yeah.
I was obsessed with those. And you know, Crawfordsville, Indiana has like its own thing. Spring Hill Jack out and wherever, all these things. So that'd be kind of cool. Oh, there it is again.
The Turtle Man.
The Spawn. Someone just said that. Go back, Nikki. Go back one comment to the Spawn Ranch thing. Yeah, Hamlin. Okay, perfect. I don't know if he was referring to something that I was saying or not, but the Spawn Ranch section of Once Upon a Time is exactly what I'm thinking of, where some fucked up shit's about to go down and you don't know what it is, and the tension is just like so. It's just like gonna get you, and then of course Tarantino pushes that off to a later scene, but like that whole thing was like that. That would be great. That's exactly what I'm talking about, and it all explodes in one giant scene or something like that. It's hard to do though, because if you don't do it the right way, everybody gets bored, and they complain how boring it was.
You could do it.
You have to. I don't know. I'm not.
You could do it.
You have to fix. What's it going to be though? I mean, creepy ranch. Guy, Brad Pitt.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Walker Ranch.
Brad Pitt makes that work though, because you're like, I want to see Brad Pitt. Like, what's he going to do? And the other one's like, good-looking people. It's all good-looking people.
So good.
But you could just have like I don't know. The other thing I like, I don't know. I'm not going to talk.
You could have
I'm done.
these guys as your cast. Look, good-looking people. There you go.
I'm out.
That's what you're gonna do.
Josh.
I'm the
Oh,
Doug
man.
Jones of this movie, guys.
My grandmother with dementia used to say I looked like Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Take
She had
it,
dementia.
take it, and run with it.
I was gonna say run with it.
Thanks, Meme. Rest in peace.
I always
What
got Be
about-
Real from Cypress Hill, so
Yep.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Damien? What
movie
genre?
I could make. It would probably be something. I've always loved sea monsters, so it'd probably be something with sea monsters. Like, I'm-
Yes.
Borderline obsessed with aquatic horror, and I don't know why I've never written that, but I'm obsessed with it. Like Leviathan, Deep Star 6, you know,
Yes.
something like that.
Kraken.
Got Josh excited
Yeah.
over here.
Oh.
Like Underwater. Did anybody see Underwater? That was
No,
great.
Yes.
Did you read this?
Yes, The Deep.
I haven't read it yet, so I only
It's
read
good.
The Troop. I'll look forward to that.
Oh, I feel bad. I wasn't a huge fan of the Deep.
It's about a belly button.
Wait,
Ooh.
I agreed with him. I don't.
I love deep belly buttons.
Someone write that one.
Deep
So do you
belly
remember the
button.
Stephen King story where the finger comes out of the sink? Someone needs to write the one where the finger just keeps going into the belly button.
Oh,
Forever.
no.
Yeah, and you start like digging into the belly button, and like camps of people live there, and like, how long have
Turns
you
into
been
House
here?
of Leaves.
Yeah.
It's like a
Spoiler
bad
alert.
Ren and Stimpy.
That's my next book. Who sent you the manuscript anyway? That was my next book.
Oh, man.
You know what's something
Oh.
I didn't mention when the movie that I would like to make? Not really the type of movie, but like the aesthetic. I think it would be really cool to see something that was like Wes Anderson style of like color grading and
Yeah.
scenery. You know, just the way it's set up, but just really fucked up horror that's terrifying and unsettling. I think that would be so cool. That's honestly, when I was reading The Nothing That Is, I was kind of picturing it that way in my head. I don't know if you intended that.
That's you. You did that. I
Yeah.
did not do that. You did
But I
that.
love
So
You did that
Now
too,
I want
Kyle.
to.
You did that too.
You did something.
Even like Linda said, we buddy read that one right before we had you on, and even she's still thinking about it. Like, it's something that lingers in your mind and does not go away. So you did your job.
can't do it again.
Absolutely.
I can't do it again. I got to talk to Marsella about how you write another book after one that makes an impression on people. I can't because I'm worried now. I'm like, what if the next one not so
No
good?
pressure. I mean,
No pressure.
Don't write military book.
I
That's my best tip right there.
Okay, I won't.
People see like Severed takes place in the Vietnam War, and they're like, pass, and I'm like, but it's very, very
Oh, they have-
supernatural and
Yes.
Yeah.
but they don't want to
Yes.
like. They're always afraid. It's like, but it's definitely supernatural. There's very little. I don't know.
it's like Ari Aster did Platoon. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
That's
it's
great. I love that. That's a great line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Linda says, come on, Kyle. I know you have it in you.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was something I had said earlier on Twitter, maybe, or it was in conversation with Damien on one of the many social media things that we talk on. And I said something like, my goal is to make the next book more batshit crazy than the last one was. And if it fails because of that, then I'll still see it as a success. Because
That's how I'm looking at
Yeah.
things from now on.
yeah.
That's how it is
Just
for me.
kind
from
of
now
just
on. Wow.
Keep cranking it up.
No, nobody read
oh,
that.
wow.
That's because I succeeded.
That's what I look at. Yeah.
I have four
So good.
successes.
Nobody
guys.
read it.
It's common
I'm
too,
going
like
places.
with your second book, especially. A lot of people like because my second book is a prequel, but it's very much a different story, but it directly ties into the first book, and it can be tough to do that and make it just as interesting as the first book. And obviously, your first book pulls people in. It's like their first experience with you. and you see it a lot. Like a lot of people, like they'll read the first book and then they won't even bother to go to the next book, even if they how much. And you know, it could be tough, but you know, if you had that first book in you, you know, I truly believe like that second book could be just as good, just as you know, attractive to that reader. And it's all about selling it, really. I mean, you know what I mean? Like getting people to pull them in.
Kind of like some marketing stuff.
Yeah,
No,
that's the hard part.
You know, your own. Someone had told me like no one else is going to sell it as well as you will. You are your own hype man, in a sense, like, or hype person. You have to be there for it, and part of it, you know, there are so many times where a book's cover or description did not win me over, but because I saw someone else talk about it or the author themselves talk about it, I said, oh, I'm going to take a chance on it.
Yeah.
And then you read it and you're like, I'm glad I did that, you know. And it's because there's something personal about it, you know. It's like, that's why I love doing things like this, is because, you know, you can talk to people directly as you can, you know, and why Twitter's great and Instagram and things like that. And you know, it's I don't know. And if it doesn't, technically, I guess it's not. Stories are coming out second, and the other one will come out later. But you know, if people, I don't know. I think one of the things that's so interesting, because I think maybe CJ and I are the only ones who only have one book out. You guys have got multiple ones. It's like, you feel like you don't. I made a joke about saying something like, I don't want an audience, because then you have to do shit to like keep them happy, or you have to do shit to like engage with them, and I'm like, nah.
Yes, you do.
That freaks me out. That freaks me out, man. I've watched too much cult shit lately, and it's like, I'm not saying that's the way it would go, but it's this thing where it's like the way that people treat George R.R. Martin with this book, or Pat Rothfuss with the third, you know, King Killer series. It's like there's like rabid, foaming at the mouth. And I'm not saying none of us are like that yet, you know, we're just dudes writing stuff. But it's like, you know, it's my own thing. It's in my own brain. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm not even going to be able to like write anything that's even as remotely fluid as that or something. Because whatever, it's just your own doubt. I think, and I was saying something earlier on, everything's on Twitter, just about, I was like, oh, well, it's expression. It's expression that's actually cosmic horror. It's because you can express yourself. That's why everything sucks so hard. But that's also why everything is so cool too. So it's always the same thing.
Yeah,
So
you never know
I
how someone's. I just want to say, you never know, like, because you're writing it, you never know how something is going to affect somebody else, and that's what's so tough about being a writer, and a published writer at that, is you're taking a chance that you're putting this out there, and because you wrote it, it's totally different than somebody that's reading the finished product. And it's, you've already gone and taken that first step. You've already written that first book, and I mean, if people like it and it's a success, it's odds are they're going to like that second book, and they're going to appreciate it because it's your voice, it's your story, and that doubt's always going to be there. I mean, I still have that doubt, but also with like the toxic fan base type thing, you just got to write what's ready to go at that time. Like I have that third book that a lot of people are anxious to read.
Are you guys calling me toxic because I'm a fan base?
No, I'm talking about like George R.R. Martin.
What the hell? Huh?
You know what I mean? Like,
you want to go? I'll fight you.
But like, you know,
let me take off my glasses here. Let's go.
You know, obviously we're not at that level, but you know, I have this one novel that's like gnawing at me to come out, and it's my horror western that I really want to write, but I also feel obligated to write that last and final book in the trilogy. But people are still going to be there. They're still going to wait. They're still going to read what you want to read. If they loved your first book, you got to go where the words take you, and where, you know, what's drawing to you more, because that's what's going to be the most inspired. That's going to be the best work that you're able to put out. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. As a reader, I agree. We will wait. We will wait. It is worth it. You do as you please. If you have something else that you're interested in, jump into that, polish up the other piece, whatever you need to do. It gives us an excuse to reread, before we jump into the next one when it comes. It also gets us to relive it. It's like Christmas all over again because we're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And, oh yeah, I forgot about this. So anyone that's being toxic about that, kick them in the butt. I want to point out this comment from Linda because Linda doesn't swear very often. So it means that she's being very, very serious here. She says, damn, what's wrong with people?
The D
You
word.
always need to go. Yeah. But
That's
she
actually
doesn't
really true.
Swear.
That's true. She doesn't curse in
Yeah.
her channel. Actually,
Yeah.
her channel is the happiest channel that I watch.
Oh.
And
Isn't
she's so
She
is.
on the
She's like,
language there, Linda.
what was it? Just recently, she was like, I didn't even. One was where she read past her TBR, or she got more done than she thought she was going to, and the other one was like she didn't. She's like, you know what? It's okay. And then where like her books weren't even next to her when she was talking about it, and she didn't. I was like, she's so happy. She's so happy.
She is. Why do you think she's like my go-to
Actually-
person? When I'm grumpy and I need someone to talk to, I'm always on the phone. Linda, talk me down off the ledge here.
She's like, we're
Canadians be
Canadians.
toxic?
No.
Surprisingly,
Drink some
yes,
maple
they
syrup.
can. What is with the maple syrup?
It's delicious. What are you talking about?
All
That's
we
what
have to
comes
do
out of
is
your
go-
faucet, right?
And
Yeah.
Canada has like a lock on it. If it's not that, it's like it's Vermont.
It's hard to take
Vermont
it
has
seriously.
some maple syrup.
Seriously.
Syrupsly?
Seriously.
Listen.
Syrups.
Seriously.
Listen.
Syrupsly.
When I need to chill, I just go into my igloo. Okay? It's as
Drink a
simple as
gallon of
that.
syrup.
I'm just waiting for Maine to be handed over to Canada. Like, I pray that day comes eventually. Like,
Kyle, he's ready to.
we're basically Canada
I don't.
anyway.
I know people. I know humans in Canada.
Yeah, they are there.
They exist.
They exist.
We have houses too, not just igloos. We have TVs. We have video game consoles. We have the internet.
They just got Nirvana recently, I heard. They just got Nirvana.
I live in West
We're still
Virginia.
stuck
We
on
still haven't
Nickelback.
got them. We still haven't got them.
Still Leonard Skinner.
We're
Yeah.
still in
man.
Milli Vanilli up here in Maine. We just got Milli Vanilli, so
Oh,
we're pretty excited. Don't tell me
Spoiler
what
alert.
happens.
No.
Yeah. Don't spoil anything.
They're great.
Oh man, you guys make me laugh. Aren't Canadians all snowmen? I don't know. If I was a snowman, I think I would melt by now.
Snow people. Excuse me. Snow people.
Sorry.
2021.
Sorry. That's right.
Snow
Don't hurt
people.
my feelings.
We don't apply genders to our snow people.
That's right. That's right. Anyhow, we have almost hit that hour and a half mark, you guys. I don't want to keep you guys forever for your Thursday evening. And you guys are, well, a lot of you guys
nowhere
are
to
ahead
go.
of.
Yeah. I gotta
You
call
have
my
nowhere to
agent,
go.
please.
Agent,
listen. Before we
managers.
go, I have one question. Josh, what is your favorite Bigfoot encounter? Because we all know you've seen Bigfoot in your camping journeys.
Sam Squatch.
Sam Squatch. I had a whole list of questions, and that was
Bigfoot.
the one. He is Bigfoot.
Big fetus.
It's really weird because right down the road from me, there's a silhouette cutout of Bigfoot, and I don't know why. I don't know who it belongs to.
He's really seen Bigfoot. I can't.
Um,
I can't believe this.
You weren't ready for that.
no,
I did not
I
mean for this
actually one of my favorite movies is Harry and the Hendersons. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I can't watch it because it's the.
Yeah, it's just that's the thing. It gets
Go
you.
away.
John
Get out of
Lovitz.
here. That's my best John Lithgow.
It's like Airbud. Airbud when he
John
was on
Lovitz.
the island.
What a friggin' I said John Lovitz. Everybody.
The big
No,
boy.
John Lovitz.
That's the ticket.
Yeah. You're making me rich. He's going crazy and I am getting rich. No. I've never experienced Bigfoot. We don't have Bigfoot up in Maine. We have Stephen King. He's got pretty big feet. You're gonna have to go to the Midwest, the West Coast for that. We don't have Bigfoot up here.
So
We have
CJ's seen
Paul
Bigfoot.
Bunyan.
The
You
CJ.
haven't seen anything. Okay, there was one time I was on my roof
No, pal.
on the side of my house, and there's just this gulch, this little ditch that goes up to the mountains, And beyond my porch, it was just pitch black. So I'm sitting on my roof and I'm just writing. I don't know what I was doing. Probably something I wasn't supposed to be doing. And I make a small movement. I make a small sound. And all of a sudden, I hear footsteps, like right at the edge of bushes, right there. And I was like, okay, there's a lot of animals. There's deer here all the time. It's probably nothing. But I try to look over. I can't see anything. But as soon as I look over, I hear what sounds like to me, probably just me going and my crazy imagination. But I hear 3 different sets of footsteps. Like they stood up and then they walked forward down into that little valley and they walked away into the darkness. And it creeped me the hell out. Don't know what it was. Could have just been people that wanted to rob my house. I don't know.
This is why he's the Elliot to my ET, because he's
Okay, Josh, we have to hear that again. Yeah. How do you
When he moved his
that?
finger, it sounded like it made that sound. Josh mentioned Stephen King in Maine, obviously. But one of the things I'm really ready to stop seeing are people taking pictures of themselves in front of Stephen King's house. Stop fucking doing that.
You know what?
Stop Stop holding up the book in front of his house.
He doesn't even live there anymore.
He knows who wrote it.
I was going to say,
he can't be there.
He's
Why
not.
would you?
They're turning his house into almost like a archive center plus like a writing retreat type deal. He doesn't live there anymore. He lives in Western Maine. And if you've read the Dark Tower series, you have an idea of I think it's like Lovett's, Maine or something. He lives on a lake. He doesn't live in the mansion anymore in Bangor. He hasn't lived there for quite a while. And he also goes back. He goes back and forth from Maine to Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he doesn't live there anymore, and it is. Yeah, it's
still done. I still don't care. I still think that
it's
part of. And I'm not naming names. We all know who it is.
Listen, Josh, just so we can piss off Kyle. Just so we can piss off Kyle. You need to take your phone or take a picture of me and go to the house and hold up a picture of me and take a photo of me in front of the house.
Take it with Kyle's book. Take cool guy Kyle's book.
The only thing about I could be there. What time is it? I could be there by about 11:15 if I drive really fast.
Oh,
I could be there.
What time is it?
No.
9:30 in Maine.
It's time to shine.
9:30.
Now I would. So I don't know why. I think it's something like. Hey, I had a feeling. I'm glad Josh confirmed it. It's like I knew he wasn't there.
No,
he's not there.
He's not there.
And it's all just sort of like it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know, man.
He's just cringe.
And it's funny
Can
because
you feel the cringe in him?
Mainers are very private.
It's more of a
we're very private people.
That part of the thing, but it's also I think more of a I can see the performance of the bookstagrammer. And I don't like that stuff. There's like certain tropes that bookstagrammers can fall into all the time. And it's just kind of like tiring to see all that stuff. I'm more interested in when people are a bit more like
human.
I don't know. Human, yeah. Like when you were like posting pictures of like camping shit. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see people's lives, show me cooking bacon.
So Kyle's saying he hates my bookstagram because it looks like it's all like planned.
Hey, turn off the AC.
People can do that. You know what I do? I just.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being called out because I post a lot of books. I'll just start posting pictures of this other dumb
bacon.
crap.
I want more pictures of cupcakes.
Dry oatmeal.
Yeah.
I don't post anything. So it doesn't matter anyway.
The story of how you got them.
Yeah. a cupcake eating contest. How about that? Which bookstagrammer can eat the most?
I understand. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that some people get so creative. Like, what's the name? Kyle. I think you posted something like yesterday, and you put his name in there, and I can't remember right now. But he puts
the Bookie Man, Caleb Ryan, the Bookie Man. Yeah.
I was just scrolling through his page, and he puts the funniest, coolest, craziest little pictures for each one.
He's awesome. Nuts. I mean, he's nuts. He does these lives, and he just like screams. He's just so passionate about books.
That's
and
awesome.
especially horror books, he just goes crazy.
Have you
And,
seen Books as Meals?
Yes.
Sorry, cool guy.
Books
Oh,
as
yeah.
meal. No. Books as meals. There's. I think there's some people who do really, really super creative shit. I love it.
Is that the missus?
I was like,
Yeah,
wait a
that's
second.
the one.
Wait a second. I was like, CJ must know who this is.
You're about an hour and a half late,
Asian
missus.
lady.
Well, when,
This is
CJ, when we find out CJ died of heat exhaustion, we know who to blame.
Well, he already said that it doesn't
got
go in
receipts
there,
now.
so he's already in like a sauna already.
Who am I
I
going
don't
to go to
know.
for support now?
10
Like, what am I
pounds
going to do?
I don't know. I kind of liked it. Like Kyle said, it was like the spaceship was taking off. You know.
Oh, babe, turn it back on. No.
It was real, real life.
Oh, and here I'm sitting here thinking I'm jealous because we don't have AC at our place, and it has been the hottest summer that we have had in years.
47
don't-
degrees.
40. You wish. We've been hitting like well over 100 for like
Oh my
weeks
God.
straight.
It would probably be well within your interest, Nikki, to buy a window unit.
Is that in
We-
Fahrenheit
we
or
have-
Celsius?
We have two. We have two, and
I
it
was
was
gonna
not
say-
able to cool the house down.
Yeah, I don't see that changing anytime soon. So
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe we should just get, like air conditioning. Spend the 10 grand to have it put in, and then I'm like, nope, because then the weather would be nice and cool again.
Yeah. Summers are so short in Maine. Like, yeah, I eventually got one for this room up here because this is where I do my writing at night, and my cat sleeps up here during the day. But yeah, it gets pretty sticky. It gets pretty humid up here. So.
Josh, can you confirm that there's something called black fly season?
Yes,
That's what scares the shit out of me.
probably like
Bugs.
late May to end of June, middle of June is black fly season, and they're just little time. It's almost like if you ever go to Florida and you get the no-see-ums with like these little bugs that you can't see. Yeah, we get them, and the good thing is like where I live now, I'm right next to a stream, and it's very wet around our property. So we actually spray our yard, and it basically what the spray does is it kills the mosquito eggs, so that we don't get them. Because before we started spraying, like we would have bad mosquitoes to the point where I didn't even want to go in my yard. I didn't want to go outside. But now that we do spray, it's much better. We can enjoy our yard, and we still get the bees and the dragonflies. I think hate us because dragonflies eat mosquitoes, and they're like flying all around, and they're like, "What the fuck? There's no mosquitoes around here."
I have a
Maybe
vision
get
in my head that black flies do this thing where they'll get close to your skin, and then your pore will open up, and then they'll go into your pore.
No, they mostly just like fly into your nose, fly into your
Very
eyes. Your
Cronenberg
mouth.
of you.
Okay, but Kyle,
that's-
you need to
that's
write
more
that now.
mosquitoes. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah,
I have
video
written
drone?
that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, video drone is
terrifying.
cool. I just wanted to say that for all the people who have whatever that phobia is, that they can't look at like lotus flowers or honeycombs. And shit.
Yeah,
Tryptophobia.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I live
My
in
kid has that. I mess with her all the time.
Juicy
Hey,
Stag, juiciness. I live in like
Juicy.
South Central Maine, which is like I live right near the capital, Augusta, Maine. Yeah, so I'm not
We
too far
want-
south, I'm not too far north, right in the middle.
Thank you for
Isn't
sharing that.
is the
'cause-
capital of Maine Lobster?
No, it's Blueberry. It's actually Stephen King. Stephen
Capital
King's
is Stephen King. The
That's his
lobster, and
house.
blueberries on his fingers.
Yeah. In lobster claws, I go dada chum dada chick.
Is Stephen King actually a lobster?
He actually is a
He wrote
blueberry
himself into the
Lobster?
beginning of
lobster.
Drawing of the Three.
He's like 15 lobsters in a trench coat.
With a blueberry.
One thing that's cool is the It movies that just came out this past year. They actually used the real. I have a painting of it by Francois Valancourt, but they actually used the actual standpipe that's in Bangor, Maine. If you watch chapter 1, you'll see Ben Hanscom carrying like his replica of the standpipe, and that it's actually the replica of the actual standpipe in Bangor, which is pretty cool. which is where like there's like a little tiny mini park just below the standpipe where Stephen King actually wrote on like yellow lined paper when he was writing it, which is also the same location where like Stanley from the book used to look at the bird bath, and he'd like look at all the birds and stuff. There's a park bench there it's just, I don't know, stupid random, but it's pretty cool. There's actually a lot of locations you can go check out in Bangor, which is like where King was inspired when he wrote it. So like the Barrens is a real place. The little neighborhood where like Mike and Beverly grew up. Not Mike was in a farm, but like Beverly, where she grew up, you can see like the apartment building, and it's really cool. Like he's a pretty friggin' unique guy. You can go on like a tour of Bangor and see a lot of the sites that he gets his ideas from, and it's like it's inspiring, especially as a writer, because you're like, damn, like he came up with that whole like 1,100 something page novel based off of these little areas like that most people just see them like, you know, like an apartment building or whatever, and he's just like, this whole story came out of this guy, and it is pretty inspiring. I mean, you know, everyone talks about King as like, you know, he's like, you know, like this entity, but he's a real dude. He grew up poor, and he just had this imagination that really just inspired a lot of people growing up. And he's as a Mainer, like he really is like this spiritual guide of like, even if you're not a horror writer, like I always grew up before I was writing anything, watching his movies, loving the dude. Like he's just you know, he's like the spiritual guru of Maine, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty nice that he's actually from this state, and it's also hard living under a shadow as a horror writer. Like, oh, what do you think you're some Stephen King? Like, who are you? You know what I mean? But you know, it's cool. It's nice to have someone like that. Not many states have that.
I just love that way.
It's cool that you. Sorry, I keep doing that.
How dare you?
I'm terrible. I'm
No,
not Canadian anymore. Anyway, but I'm going to continue to interrupt you. Just so you know. It's cool that you said that, because if you actually watch the Mothman Prophecies, you can see the pepperoni roll where I wrote all my books.
I love that movie.
Nice. It wasn't even filmed in West Virginia, I don't think.
I still love that movie.
I'm just lying. I'm trying to make something more interesting. Because all the technical difficulties I had. I wrote a book on a pepperoni roll.
Nice.
Hey, better than a bully stick.
I don't want to talk about it anymore because it fell really flat.
No.
So let's move on.
I got it.
I want to move on now. So
Oh, no.
Josh, tell us more about Stephen King.
No.
Isn't
I want
it
to
funny?
hear more of the pepperoni roll.
I want to hear more about Mothman in general. And the Mothman,
I did fly upon his glorious wings one time, and it was. That's a lie too.
See, Kyle just looks like he's just like, yes, tell me more. I want to know more about that pepperoni roll.
I'll
already
bring
ate
you
dinner,
one.
but yes, tell me.
I'll bring you one in
Tell me
October.
more.
Yeah, bring me one.
There you go.
Hey, I didn't eat dinner, so you can tell me more. I'll listen.
Yeah, this is usually when I'm cooking dinner for everyone. So
You got
I'm
out
not
of cooking
feeding my
dinner.
family because of this. So just,
What
They're
is
gonna
it?
start
Putting my
on-
kids to bed.
they can feed themselves. I just threw
There's
some
the fridge.
Tex Mix on the floor, and I was like, "Go."
Chex Mix on the floor.
like straight
I'm like an
cats.
80-year-old man. I cook dinner at like 4 p.m. and we eat by 4:45.
That's actually a good idea. That's a good idea, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will eat dinner after this, and that's a bad idea.
It
I'll
is.
wake up with heartburn and almost die.
It happens. So I get home from work and I get ready and I jump in and then I say to Chris, "You're in charge of dinner tonight." And he kind of looks at me like, "Oh, what?"
My wife makes fun of me because I'm like, it's like 3:15 and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go into the kitchen and get dinner started. And she's like, dude, it's like noon. I'm like, no, I want to cook.
Yeah, nobody else knows. I want to move on, Bree. I want to move on.
Yeah, can we explain the pepperoni roll thing?
Pepperoni rolls are something
I didn't know what a
that
pepperoni
I lived
roll
in Pittsburgh.
was.
I lived in Pittsburgh for 5 years, and maybe it's West Virginia's not far away from there. But
Yeah, see,
pepperoni
you
rolls
put
are
them
all
out for the
over the place.
Mothman with Mountain Dew because everybody drinks Mountain Dew here.
Oh, okay.
The Mountain Dew drinkers.
We put them up for. That's literally a thing.
Mm.
That's disturbing.
It's a thing.
That's the
awesome.
scariest thing I've ever read.
I like how people are validating you.
Well, one of them is my wife, and one of them is one of my best friends. So
Oh, okay.
They better.
There's the wife.
She,
There's the best
she's gonna
friend.
have to hear about it for 5 hours. Why did I say that pepperoni roll? And now it's gonna be on the internet.
That
I won't
was our
sleep at
thing.
night.
That was
Oh,
our
that is
thing.
so
We were supposed to
funny.
have that.
Now you have
And
to put it in
beans.
a book.
You spilled the beans.
I don't know what she's talking about with beans.
Not a thing in West Virginia?
Oh, because they had people were putting cans of beans on the Mothman statue.
Oh.
Why?
All out? I don't know.
That's disrespectful.
They were
They
sick
did-
of
they
taking pictures in front of King's
They
house,
did
and
get
they're
really
like,
mad, I think.
that's the next step.
Yeah.
For drinking
Does
Mountain
get really
Dew.
sweaty?
It's all your hair.
Right.
It's all your luscious hair.
YouTubing makes me sweat.
Does it really?
Tubing.
Yeah.
I get sweaty when I'm tubing.
You get sweaty when you're when you're
That
tubing.
sounded bad, but I
That
don't care.
sounds so bad.
I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it for
That's too
Mike.
funny. I feel this has been just like one of the best, like relaxed, easygoing chats. But I feel like everyone that's watching has forgotten that you guys are all authors.
Nothing's even been accomplished whatsoever.
Yeah,
Like,
I forgot.
we didn't talk about anything.
Poor CJ is just like, what did I get myself into? Listen, I came on here to talk
I'm gonna
about me and my
replace the
work.
camera with my book.
Well, we really sold some books for Stephen King, so he should really thank us.
Yeah.
He owes us.
Stephen King and Mothman.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good point. TikTok. I don't have time to get into this because I have to go. But if somebody wants to make a TikTok and then make us all go viral, that'd be great.
I know, right?
Pretty great. If
Some
we
type
could all
of
pull
meme.
off like an Eric LaRocca thing, that'd be pretty great. I would love that.
Yeah. Tim
I
Meyer
keep
just.
trying, it doesn't work. I keep
Listen.
doing Ultimate Warrior impersonations, and it doesn't.
I have TikTok,
They
but I
made me
don't
laugh.
know how to use it. So
I've only posted 2 things. The first one got a lot of views. The second one was literally an ad for this that I put up like 3
I saw
hours ago.
which I never
But,
even thought of doing, which is a brilliant idea, and I'm going to do that from now on. Thank you, CJ.
Do it for the talk.
I,
Do it
um,
for the talkers.
I have a whole thing that I want to do, like in front of that Mac Tonight poster, with like the Halloween mask that I have and a suit and be this character. But I'm so scared to do it because I feel like it's just gonna be cringy.
Do
But
it.
I think I'm gonna do it.
Do
There's nothing
it.
really to
do
lose.
it. Do
There's
it.
no such thing as. I mean, unfortunately, there should still be shame, but there's not any shame anymore.
There is
And
still a delete button. Like,
Dignity is incredibly.
There's always
And the
the
people that made
valuable.
that, I thought, I guess I didn't. It's my fault. I didn't read correctly. I thought I was buying like a wall poster that was like this big. That thing. Hold on.
What is it, a wall hanging?
Oh my God.
It's
It's like a tapestry.
It's big.
That is really disorienting.
Oh.
I
Wow.
thought
Yeah.
that
I didn't
room
think
is
it was
way
that
bigger
far
than I
back.
I
expected.
feel like
It was like
something
you
just
walk on
happened
a
just now.
he walked down to a tunnel, and I was just like,
I know that is
He's still
disorienting.
going.
Holy
Garage.
crap. You know what's funny is the opposite happened with me. I ordered this poster from Fire in the Sky, the UFO movie, and I was expecting like a big poster, and it's literally like an ad that was in a comic book. So it's the opposite. See, I'll walk next to it, and it's not even that big. It's like tiny.
Juicy, you need to teach me how. Teach me how, Juicy. Teach me.
Yeah, I was expecting like something big like that, and it's like, no, sorry.
Yeah.
That's disorienting. That's a huge room.
That's too funny.
Every time when I first started,
Exactly.
I was trying to hide it from my wife because I was like, "Oh my god, this is too big for anything." And for like the first 2 weeks I had it, every time I walked in the garage, I would just laugh because it's so.
Kyle's like, I
complicated.
could just reach here and reach here.
Tyler just peeked out.
yeah, I can.
Oh, that's too funny. Okay, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer because we're already going up to like that 2-hour mark. We're 15 minutes away. So before you guys go, though, please remind people who you are, what you have out there, what they should go pick up, and maybe you should slide in what you're reading right now, too. CJ, go.
I am the ultimate warrior. Sorry, that's Damien's thing. Damien. DJ Sampera, please pick up my book on Amazon. It's actually on sale right now. God, I didn't even mention that yet. From Halloween until Halloween, I put it on sale for half price. It's $5 for the paperback, 99 cents for the ebook.
And he
Which,
means
thank
like
you to
that's
Ross
like
Jeffrey,
$100
by
for
the way.
Canadian money, you know.
Yeah, well, you guys get better money. So.
To get better money.
Yes, please, if you do purchase the book, please leave a review, and because they're very important. I only got a couple of them, and
Very important.
Let me know what you think. Currently working on one. I think I can. Is it okay to release the title of the book if it's not sold yet or it's not published?
No, save
Yeah,
it.
because you can change it.
Save it.
I'm opposite from Joshua.
Working title is Uncanny Valley Days, and
Ooh, that's good.
Ooh.
thank you.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited about that to come out.
Intrigues
hopefully
me.
soon.
Yeah.
And then I am currently reading like 3 things at once. I got to stop doing that. Chad Lutsky's first Night Owl Inn. I don't even have it on me right now.
Yes.
Crossroads.
Is it the Neon Owl?
Yes, the Neon Owl.
Yes, it's a good one.
Awesome.
That's not like horror. That's like a dark comedy.
Yeah, I was just
dramatic.
sold on the whole premises because you described it in a tweet, and I was like, I'm buying that. That sounds awesome.
So good, and the cover's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good. Also, simultaneously reading Crossroads by Laurel Hightower.
Another good one. Yes.
There was one other one that I wanted to start because The Atrocities by Jeremy C. Shipp.
Okay.
Really
Yes.
cool. Yeah, I got to figure out a way to just stick to one and get it done because my TBR pile is bigger than Nikki's probably, and it's gonna crush.
Excuse me?
Soul. Maybe not.
Do we need to have a fight here?
I don't know, but you need to put this one on yours too.
I do. I need to buy Damien's too, and I need to get a physical copy of Kyle's too. I've read it, but I have it on Kindle. You guys, I'm gonna go broke here.
That's the thing. I have so many more in my Amazon cart too that I can't even get yet.
Yes.
I love books.
I am Joshua Marsella, as the name says. I am a horror author. I'm all over the place. If you want to find me on social media, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and recently TikTok, which is kind of embarrassing. I'm currently reading Dalton Highway by Freddie.
Oh, Allen.
Allen. He's a Swedish author. He's an amazing guy. This is a great book. What a trucker who
psychological horror.
Yeah, he basically he's a truck driver up in Alaska on the Dalton Highway, and he crashes and his dog gets loose, and he goes on this trippy hike to find his dog, and crazy stuff happens. I'm about 60, almost 70% through it. I'm also reading. I think that's about it right now. I was gonna start Tommy Knockers on audiobook, but I keep downloading more and more books lately. So you can find me anywhere. If you my DMs are always open. If you want to slide in, say something, keep it non-sexual. I'm awkward. I'm not into that kind of stuff. But if you keep it unmoist, I'm ready to go.
Dry. Keep it dry.
Keep it dry.
Ew. Are you a dry guy?
Dry guy? No, but always feel free to hit me up if you read something I wrote or love or whatever. I'm always around. So, and I'm thankful for having me. Thanks for having me, Nikki, and
of course,
Mike. I'm really ashamed that you ditched us,
Mr. Salty.
But
for good reason.
We understand you're serving your country, so it's all good.
Yes.
Yeah. Word.
Yeah,
come home soon, man.
What about you, Kyle?
Kyle Winkler, and it's a novella. Unmoist. That's a sequel. Unmoist. The Nothing That Is. It's cosmic horror, and that might turn some people off. It seems like cosmic horror is not a genre that a lot of people like, but I will say, if you don't like that, then come for The Last, because I think it's kind of funny.
I love cosmic horror.
It's a good read.
So,
It is a good read.
but I'll have another collection of like weird fiction, speculative fiction coming out in November, all of which have to do. There's a horror tone through all of that, body horror, a lot of mother-child stuff. So written from the point of view of mothers. So Nichi, you might enjoy some of that. And I am reading a number of things right now. I'm reading The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell, which is a sci-fi novel, but it's got a lot of weird horror in it. That's really dark and twisted. It's dark. But I stopped that to read Patrick Lee's The Breach, which is the first of this trilogy. Has anyone read this? This is
Thanks,
not.
Juicy.
Thanks, Juicy.
It's a thriller, but it's got weird like future tech in it, and it's got like secret agencies, and it's crazy. But the Dalton Highway appears in it, oddly enough, in the very first, because it takes place in
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
It's a weird thing.
Very
So
meta.
wait. I dig that. Then I'm taking with me. I'm going on vacation tomorrow, and I'm taking with me The Drawing of the Three,
Oh.
and I'm also going to take.
Is this your first trek around the beam?
It
the
is
tower?
around the tower. I read The Gunslinger years ago, and I'm now gonna just get into part 2, and then I'm also gonna take Bentley Little's The Store with me.
Oh,
The Store is so good.
So I don't have any indie horror, unfortunately, lined up, but I'm still reading some horror and some thriller and some whatnot. So, and I'll report back about what I think about The Drawing of Three. I've already read the first couple pages, and I'm like, it's like
Totally different from
but it's lovely.
Gunslinger.
Yeah, but I'm happy with it. So,
what about
Thank
you,
you,
Damien? You're
Lullabies.
like so, still
Serious.
over there.
I
I
can't
think you're like a
help it.
mannequin.
It's who I am as a person. I don't know why I'm like that.
Oh, thank you.
My wife says I'm
Thanks for coming.
unapproachable because of it, but I couldn't be.
I'm
more
gonna have to
approachable.
sell your books for you, Damien.
No, check this out.
in
So
Charleston.
you know how I
No,
forgot
check
to bring
this
my
out.
books? Well, I'm an idiot, and I have this rig thing that I have with this phone and my computer sitting on top of all these books.
It's all
these
your
notes.
books.
And on top, I had my bookmark that has all my books
Oh,
Aren't they
on.
beautiful?
So let me get it in there. Screenshot it, I guess. And then if you flip it, there's my Instagram
Yeah.
and there's my TikTok
Yeah.
because
And
I'm
the old
marketing
logo.
genius, and I didn't know it.
The old logo.
But yeah, the old logo, it's dead. He's dead. So don't screenshot that. He's dead. And I have coming up a Choose Your Own Adventure book, which is kind of a spoof of The Shadow over Innsmouth. CJ.
yeah.
Awesome.
And it's very short, but I tried to make it fun enough that people will go back and reread all the passages. Then after that, I'll have a Thick Boy coming out, so that'll be fun.
Ooh,
Which
I like
CJ
thick.
also has.
I like
TAHICC.
Thick boy.
Thick Boy. This one will
That's
be
what my wife
2,
calls
maybe
me.
3 C's.
That's this fuck boy.
Sorry.
As far as what I'm reading The Vacation Planet by Joseph Slater right now. Actually, it's really great. I just started it today.
Oh.
Actually, I've knocked out about half of it. I'm loving it. It's good.
It's too bad he
Nice.
didn't show up, because now
Yeah, he's
somebody's
like
got to get in
always
touch with him.
in comments.
Listen, somebody get on there and be like, you were mentioned at the beginning of this stream. Watch it.
Make Mike do it. Mike can do it.
Oh, man, that's too funny.
I'll do it. He lives about 30 minutes north of me. I'll do it.
Really?
Yeah.
We'll knock on his door. Bring the stream with you.
We'll live stream it.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm
What is
streaming
this?
on you. Ew, no. Quit streaming on me.
It's moist. Wait.
Moist stream.
It's
Wait.
it's dry.
I'm gonna be subconscious now and start moving more because.
Mike,
Well, it's
I
like,
don't stop moving,
I-
son.
Am
I
I more
don't know if you
approachable
like
now?
froze.
No,
Yeah,
actually, it's
like a
harder to get a
statue.
hold of you.
Yeah.
Like I can't help
The
it.
crane game.
Quick, we're losing viewers.
Oh,
Kyle, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Scaring
Let's start-
people away.
Start poking him. Just, are you there? Hello. Well, thank you
Dodging.
guys so much for coming on. I don't think
Thank you
there's
for
any other
having me.
questions.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
of
you for
course.
having us.
It's you never know what to expect when you jump on here, so it's always
Buy
a blast. Well, yeah, absolutely. I know I have to do it myself. I need to become a millionaire or something so that I can never have my wallet screaming at me because
I gotta get on that.
becoming a millionaire?
Millionaire.
Yeah.
Look, guys, I'm not gonna go in there and cook dinner for my kids until you buy a book. So please buy a book.
Guilt. The guilt.
There's-
The guilt.
Mike did that on the last stream I was on. That was,
That's it. If I wasn't on my phone,
Mike
right now,
was-
I'd be
Mike
buying.
was talking about his fake family.
yeah, it's fake family.
Oh,
Somebody had that.
He's
oh
like,
yeah,
I borrow
Kyle.
these people for sympathy.
I don't think Kyle was there, but yeah, when Mike was on the channel last, he was talking about how the family that he has all over his Instagram is just his fake family. He pays them. They're actually his neighbors.
Crisis family.
Yeah.
Crisis actors.
Ow.
Pizza it is. Yeah.
It got bleak.
Looks like we'll go pick up some Jimmy John's, I guess.
Are you saying I'm not gonna sell anything, babe? Come on.
I'm always broke because I'm always buying books too. That's right. I
There's nothing
swear.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. They don't expire. They don't go bad. And when they crush you, you can just enjoy reading your way out.
They smell
So-
good.
They smell good. They look good on your shelves and the covers and the spines and all the aesthetics. Okay. Clearly, it's an
Thrift stores,
addiction.
Not us, but
My
hope
books
you
make
won't.
really good things that you put under the table to wedge them up a little bit.
Coasters?
Yeah.
No, not
David,
coasters.
no, he's talking about levelers.
Yeah,
the table's lopsided.
they're pretty good for that.
My books make good Band-Aids.
Oh,
stick it on.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Before this goes into really weird places, because it will, we should jump off. Thank you guys so much for coming and joining me.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, CJ, for jumping on and being gutsy enough to jump on with all of us. All of these guys have experienced it. They
Thank you
know
for having me.
what to expect. Anytime. You guys have something new coming
Let's
out,
touch
or
fingers,
you want to?
Damien.
where are you? Oh. I can't get. There it is.
Conduit.
Oh, look at this brotherly awesome love. I told you, you guys, it's gonna go to some real weird places now. Here we go. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Thank you for everyone that came and hung out with us in the chat. If you're coming
Thank
after
you,
the
guys.
fact, all of these guys' socials are going to be in the description. So it's an easy quick click. Go check out their work. Go find their other socials. Go support them. Go read their stuff and leave reviews. Leave a review. Even
Talk
if it
to
was
me.
just simply,
Please.
I loved it. It
Feed
was
a child.
awesome.
Glad to
Go
the
buy it.
DMs all day.
Eat a child, leave a review.
Flatting.
And when it comes to Damien, make sure you have a
Flatting.
conversation on Twitter and Instagram because Kyle's
Yeah.
not the only person that does that. Damien, I do
Swipe
that
right.
too.
I talked
Swipe right.
Somebody talk to me, please.
Yeah.
Please, I'm begging
I'm
you.
gonna hit you up in like 5 minutes.
Well, thank you guys so much. It was
Hey,
it
my
was
brother.
a blast.
What's up, Alex?
Oh man, just as we're getting ready to leave, isn't that the
Goodbye,
way here?
CJ's brother.
Bye bye. It was nice
Goodbye,
seeing you.
CJ boy.
Hi, Alex. You're
Goodbye.
wonderful.
Guys.
So great
Cool.
to talk to.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Say goodbye to Mac tonight. He'll be in your dreams.
Bye, Mac.